welcome to EduBox,
where you will find tips for teachers and help for your students.
If you haven't already, we would love it if you click that little red subscribe button down below, as well as the bell next to it, so you get notifications when our new videos pop up.
And we are on all the socials.
All the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Teachers Pay Teachers.
That's it.
That's it. And the links for all of those are in the description box below, or you can look up the handle at EduBox or at EduBoffins.
Suze, I have a question.
Oh dear.
It's a research question.
Oh, okay. I like that.
We're going to be looking at the research question for senior school experiments, senior school student experiments in Queensland.
Very, very good. If you haven't seen the introduction for this video, the set of videos yet, I will link it up in the cards above. Make sure you go and watch that first and then come back and watch this one afterwards.
So that you can get full marks on the ISMG in QLD, according to the QCAA.
That hurts my brain. And on that note, over to you, Shells.
Thanks, Suze. Let's go. Hi. Today we're going to be having a look at the research question for a student experiment. So let's just get that on the board. Research question. Research question. The ISMG for Queensland, that's the marking guide for Queensland, states that to get full marks for your research question, it needs to be specific and it also needs to be relevant. It's relevant in the light of your rationale. So it's relevant if it is testing something related to the topic. So this needs to fit in with what has been said in your rationale. For example, if your rationale is all about the effect of temperature on enzyme activity, you wouldn't expect to have a research question that's talking about the effect of temperature on transpiration rates. That would not be a relevant question. Specific means it's able to be tested, so it's testable. It has enough detail in it that you can test it in a school lab in the time frame that you are given, which remember is 10 hours. So you need to have enough detail in your research question to allow that to happen. A research question should also have a few very important sections. Number one, it should have an independent variable. Which we call the IV for short. That is the variable that you are controlling. I teach my juniors that it's the variable that they are choosing to change. Now, it's important that you don't get confused because your dependent variable is going to change as well, but your dependent variable is going to change as a result of the changes you make to the independent variable. So it's the choosing that's important here. Your research question needs a dependent variable. Or a DV. Now that one is also going to change because when you change the one thing, it's going to affect the other thing, hopefully. But you're not choosing to change your dependent variable. So this is actually the one that you are going to be measuring. Those are the results. That is the data that you're going to be, and it needs to have enough detail. Enough detail to make it specific. Now, before we go any further, I just want to tell you, you should avoid starting your research question with how or with why. Just cross those out of your research question vocabulary, because we just don't have the tools and the techniques and the knowledge to answer those questions at school. A good way to start your research question is with what. I'm going to have to clean the board now. All right, back to our research question. Remember, IV, DV, specific, starting with what. So here's an example. What is the effect of increasing the temperature I'm going to take a little pause there. So increasing the temperature is my independent variable right there. And you will notice that I've said increasing. I haven't just said changing the temperature. I've given an idea of whether it's going up or going down. Increasing the temperature. Now, temperature could be increasing from 0 to 200 degrees centigrade. So we need more information to make this question specific. And I'm going to say increasing the temperature between 25 degrees centigrade and 45 degrees centigrade. So I've made my independent variable specific. I know exactly what temperature range I'm going to be testing. I've got my IV, I still need my DV. Fortunately, my rationale was on transpiration, and I'm going to look at transpiration rates in beans for this research question. So what is the effect of increasing the temperature between 25 degrees and 45 degrees on the amount of water lost through transpiration Let's take a little pause there. We haven't finished the research question yet, but what we have put in is the dependent variable. That's the amount of water lost. That's what I'm going to be measuring. So I'm going to be changing the temperature between 25 and 45 degrees, going up from 25 to 45, and I'm going to be measuring the amount of water that is lost. So that's my dependent variable. Through transpiration. Now I've got a little problem here because this is not specific. All plants transpire. So as it stands, I need to check the amount of water lost in banana trees, avocado trees, daisies, grass, basically every single plant on the face of the earth. Clearly I am not going to get through all that amount of work. So I'm going to have to make it a lot more specific, and I can do that by saying which type of plant I'm going to use. So I'm going to pick something that's easy to grow, because you don't want to be struggling with the plants. And fortunately I know how to grow beans. So the amount of water lost through transpiration in climbing bean plants. Done. I can test that in a lab. It's specific enough. It starts with what. What is a question I can answer? So I have completed a research question. My research question is specific. Tick. It's relevant because I wrote a brilliant rationale, and we're going to do the rationale in a different video. Tick. I've got full marks for my research question.
Right. If you found that helpful or you have any further questions about how to write a research question, leave them in the comments below and Shells will get back to you as soon as she can on those. If you haven't watched the previous video, link is in the description below. Go back and watch it. There will be many, many more coming on student experiments.
Yes, and we'd love it if you could share with your friends. I'm sure it will be helpful to many of them.
Absolutely, and click that little subscribe button if you haven't done it already so that you know when new videos pop up.
Correct. Next video on this playlist is going to be about writing the rationale.
Not the Russian L, the rationale.
We're thinking, Suze.
I know, right?
I think it's time we left.
I think so too. On that note, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Let's swap sides this time though.
Was that the warm-up?
Yeah.
Such a pawpaw.
I know.
Now you're going to look taller than me.
Okay. Why? Is it because this side of the room?
I don't know. It's weird.
It's so bizarre.
It's a slow thing.